Start off, as you know, these somewhat unorthodox ads are gaining a lot of attention. You made the Jon Stewart show last night, and with the one called Rock, and but people are sort of stumped. Why do you stare at the camera kind of silently for? I believe we timed it for a minute and 11 seconds. And then just kind of go pick up the rock and toss it in the lake. What's the...
Well, first off, they're not ads. They're not political ads at all. These are two young teachers in Southern California. They teach art and technology, and they had just finished their work. And they contacted Mindy Iden, who is my Southern California representative, who also has a theatrical background. She's been an actress and all that. And so they contacted her and said, look, we saw the senator in the debates. We saw him interviewed. We want to photograph him and do something with him. And so she communicated that to me. And what they said was, and all she communicated to me when I gave her the okay, was they want you to throw a rock in the water. And so I thought, well, that makes sense. It does. Because you stop and think what happens when you throw a rock in the water. You're creating ripples into infinity. And so I said, fine, I'll make my whatever time available. I gave them a whole day. And they did. They drove up in their little car, outdated car, and they had sticks in the back. They had rocks in their car. They had very sophisticated video equipment. And these two teachers, I met them. We did some filming, like I say, in all day in 3 different locations. But it's a metaphor. What is a metaphor of? It's a metaphor from their perspective, not my perspective. I'd be prone like any other politician. I want to make a statement. No. What they want is a metaphor of an ordinary citizen who acts in an unusual, extraordinary way. And that was a citizen who looks closely at the camera, and you have to read, as we do in good movies, the characters, the good actors don't talk. You read their faces. You read into, you may not be what they're thinking, but you read into what you want. And then what they did is they had me turn around, walk away, pick up the rock. We did about 3 shoots, and they had 4 or 5 rocks in the car, and take this rock and throw it in the water. And it ripples away, and the impact of those ripples, whatever that is, and then I walk away literally totally out of sight. One of the kids, I think it was Gustin, comes up to me and he whispers at me, he says, look into the camera and look serious. And so after somebody comes up to me and says, Senator, what did he tell you? Did he give you some magic secret? No, he said he told me to look in the camera.
Well, let me ask you, don't mean to be a bit slow, but so
please.
Is this, what is this message? And is this message related to you and to your campaign?
Yes, it is, but it's their interpretation, not my interpretation. This is their genius. They made me do all the steps they wanted, and I had enough confidence in these young artists that they knew what they were doing. And boy, when I hear about the reaction that you see, what is it? I can tell you, people don't even understand Shakespeare. People don't understand what a metaphor is. And because they're so used to seeing all of this stuff that's going on in politics, when all they're trying to do is to convey one simple message. Here's an ordinary citizen called Mike Gravel. And what he's doing, he's trying to make a change in society, and then he's going on with his life or to death. Who knows? But this is beautiful. This is very artistic and very beautiful. And if some talking heads don't have enough artistry in their hearts to understand what these kids were doing, that's their problem. That's not the problem of the kids who did the work. And that it causes this reaction. And I was not aware of the reaction until I got a call an hour ago. And so this reaction, I know what the reaction is. People have a tough time understanding politics, understanding the art of a different generation, and understanding simple metaphors.
Well, and speaking of that, some people actually, even this whole staring into the camera, they almost get uncomfortable, by that.
Looking at it, you mean?
They almost think it's disturbing, So is it a good thing to try to get that feeling from voters?
If looking at me and what I'm trying to convey in this election is disturbing, the answer is yes. when we stop and think of what it's costing in human life in this Iraq war, and the Democratic leadership and my colleagues running for president don't lift a finger to end it, that's disturbing. Yes, that's what's in my eyes if you look very closely. I'm angry. And I'm not only angry for myself, I'm angry for the American people who are angry and don't see government responding to their needs.
You know, and these kind of, you said that they're not ads. What do you refer to them as?
Well, they're not ads. For sure they're not ads. Secondly, I didn't pay anything for them. These kids didn't ask for gas money. And we didn't even have time to buy them a cup of coffee. We were so busy on that day. And so these are kids that feel deeply. And I got to tell you, a lot of Americans out there just like, they feel deeply. They're artistic. Mind you, these are two 24-year-old, I would say, professors, and they teach art and technology. And so this is their art, and so it's theirs, it's their interpretation. And so as far as I'm concerned, they did it, and they did what they wanted with it. I had no constraints, well, you got to do this, you got to do that. This is them. Our campaign is made up of spontaneity out there. I won't win by raising the millions of dollars that others are raising. I'll win because there's going to be spontaneity and creativity in the American people.
Well, you know, with these films, these productions, you know, should we kind of be dissecting them like the Sopranos finale that happened on Sunday? You know, you're kind of waiting there. You know, you're staring at the camera. You're waiting for something to happen, almost like you're waiting for Tony Soprano to get whacked. You know?
Well, and I thought he should have got whacked, but then again, I understand why they didn't do it. They may want to do a movie, and so that'd be tough to dig him up that way. But my wife was telling me this morning she was so angry the way Sopranos ended, and I didn't get a chance to get into it. I was so zonked. But no, this is what it's all about, and that's what these young men have captured. I'll say this: I don't think anybody understands what's going on in this election. They're raising money to an obscene level. I don't know whether the internet is at its beginnings, whether it's adolescence or it's mature. I don't know. I don't know if anybody else knows or understands the dynamic of it going on. I know that in certain areas I'm high up in the internet, but down in the polls I'm down at 1%. I don't understand that. I don't think anybody else does. And I know that polls this early out don't mean that much, but the 08 is a watershed election year for this nation, because we are on the tipping point, and if we don't get it right in 09, we can't recover. We're going downhill.
Well, you know.
Now, see, these are political statements I'm making. That's not what these kids were doing. I'm making political statements. These are from Mike Gravel. What you're seeing is what you got from Matt and Gus. And this is their artistry, and I can do nothing but applaud it. And after it was done, I came to understand it better. But even after it was done, with this dedication, I said, anytime you want to do some more, I'm available. And thank you.
Well, you know, you're going to have, you know, kind of internet sleuths trying to decipher the meaning of you know, the little details of these productions. You know, the girl that walks behind you on the water's edge, the car noises, the birds squawking, you know.
The foghorn in the background. It was a foggy day in San Francisco. Sure, and let them analyze. Everybody will see a different message. That's what a metaphor is. You look at this. Here, I'll give you an example. Everybody in all of history who's looked at the Mona Lisa comes away with a different view of the Mona Lisa. It just happened to be a foggy day, so the horn was going, and the fog lent a certain ambiance to the context of what they were recording. So people will read anything and everything into it, but what has to come out is that here is an ordinary citizen, and that's all I am. Even if I'm President of the United States, I'm an ordinary human being, and I want to try to make a difference. And these people see that, and they want that to show, and they've done a better job than I've done in some respects.
Well, in general, you know, what do you guys, your campaign, hope to take from this? And, you know, are you afraid that voters and people in general will just be a little mystified, kind of like, what is this all?
Well, what is life all about? Life is a mystery to us all. What is life all about? And so this is their interpretation of one little slice of human activity in the political venue of people running for president. They saw all the other presidential candidates. They just saw me differently and wanted to portray me differently and were prepared to invest the time and energy to do this and to invest their intellect and their artistry. That's what I honor. And so if there's a political benefit, boy, great. If there's a political downside to some people who don't understand what a metaphor is, that's their problem. Not my problem, nor the problem of Gus and Matt.
Well, and in this day of these, multi-million-dollar campaigns, I mean, the kinds of, this being on YouTube and having so many people watching this, what do you have to say about that and what that can do for your campaign?
It's a miracle. It truly is. This is life is a miracle. The contest that we have as human beings, it's a miracle. And what we know is that the human creativity knows no bounds. And it's so sad because when you look around the world and we see the pain and the violence, it need not be that way. And what can change it is not only proper leadership, which we don't have, but the leadership of the people themselves. What I'm doing with respect to the National Initiative for Democracy is real simple. I have unreserved faith in the American people and the people of the world. And unfortunately, I don't see any other leaders around that have that much faith in the people.